Shanti. Good evening to those of you who are able to join me here live, and also warm greetings to those of you tuning in later through the YouTube video. The aims of these chit chats is to just sit as classmates of Baba's school and have the chance to ask something. Here, there's no such thing as a stupid question or a bad question. You can ask any question, or you can make any comment. And also then Ranjaben will join us in a little while, and she selected a morally on the drill of bodilessness to read. So we'll get into that later. So I wonder if any of you who are here live would like to ask anything or say anything.
Om Shanti.
Hello, I'm Shanti.
How does it feel after 22 years?
um, it feels good. How are you?
Good, thank you. On birthday.
Yeah,
Very good.
good. He's referring to Arsenal, my childhood football team, winning the league. So I can remember I started my spiritual efforts when I was 15 years old, back in 1993. And I can remember as a child having yoga for Arsenal to win. And then I grew out of that and they lost, they didn't win. So I was wondering whether I should return to having yoga for them again. But maybe it's all these early Amrit Velas. They've worked and borne fruit. Um, would anyone like to ask anything? Ambika Ben, I can see you here. You've come into the room at the right time. Would you like to say anything or ask anything?
Om Shanti. I'm having some problem with my WhatsApp. I couldn't get it on my computer. So,
Okay.
but I wanted to find out Sunday's Murli, when Baba spoke about giving the gift of anger,
Hmm.
and he connected it with jealousy.
Hmm.
And I have been trying to understand how jealousy translates into anger, and I couldn't connect it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can simplify that for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it, sister, that how much do we churn the vices? On one side, it's useful to know details for the purpose of identification. On the other side, we don't want to focus so much on our shortcomings. That's all we think about. We want to much more focus on our strengths, like Beva said last week. Pick your points of self-respect, experience those. So I've heard Baba say in other Morley's that jealousy is one of the traces of anger. And like you, when I'd heard that at that time, I was a little puzzled. And so I did spend some time thinking on that. And what we learn from Baba is that there are multiple shades of the vices. There's the very obvious forms of the vices. So all of us, whether BK or not, we know the obvious forms of anger. And Baba says to us that that's something which you're all going to have to eliminate from yourself. And all other human beings would also say, now, there will be some who will say, well, we should have the next level of anger. And this is the type of anger where we see injustices, unfairness. And in order to bring about change, the argument is there should be a little bit of anger. It's something that Brother Jagdish used to take up in his classes. He used to say that he was asked that question quite frequently by members of the public, that should we not keep a little bit of anger? Can you execute your duties properly as a parent, as a school principal, as a police officer, and so on, without anger? So people feel that you should have a certain amount of anger. And the brother's answer used to be that, what do you mean by a little? And how much is a little? How will you measure it? And how will you ensure that the little doesn't become a lot? So he would always say that Baba's line with these things is always absolute, isn't it? You have to eliminate the vices completely, rather than keeping a little bit. But most people will say we should have a little bit of it. So I think that you've got anger on that level. Then a third shade of anger is, I think, where the jealousy comes in. And much of our world is actually based upon competition, whether it's the human world, whether it's the animal world. It's part of the sanskars that runs through nature in the Iron Age. And so that competitiveness linked with comparison, and it has a level of jealousy within it. So here as well, the argument would be that if you want to become elite in anything, you must have this competitive spirit. So if you think about how everything is structured, if you want to find the best athlete, the best singer, the best dancer, anything, it's usually done through competition. And the way in which we are motivated to achieve things and do things is through this level of comparison and jealousy. So I think the part of jealousy here is also coveting. So coveting what another has. I must also have that. And you do hear that among sports people, for example. They want to achieve, maybe someone is the number one player in something, and everyone else wants to be the number one. We see it, of course, in politics all the time. And the moment someone becomes a prime minister, everyone else wants their job. And so the whole of the party is actually full of people who are jealous and covet what they have. So there's this level of anger which forms the basis of motivation. But that jealousy, of course, leads to very mixed behaviors. So I think, there's this sort of shade of anger, which is our drive, our desire, our passion. But part of that motivation based on comparison leads to this jealousy. And the thing about jealousy is that it burns away inside, and it doesn't allow the person to be content and doesn't allow others to be content. So there's an ugliness about jealousy. And the jealousy, I think, is very prevalent in the Brahmin family as well. But because it's an ugly vice, we wouldn't usually like to admit it. But it can be there in terms of like just looking at others' roles and thinking, oh, I wish I also had that role. I wish my role was better. I wish I had, it's like that classic saying, isn't there? The grass is always greener. So this comparison, competition, and jealousy triangle, I think, is a key part of body consciousness. And it has a distractive, so temporary success through it, but actually it's quite distractive, really. So I think what Baba's saying to us is you're going to have to eliminate all the different shades of anger. Part of this jealousy is linked with low self-esteem. So if I'm genuinely in my self-respect, I'm feeling full, I'm feeling positive about myself, there actually isn't any comparison. And so this freedom from comparison is part of Jivan Mukti. It's something which, I worked a lot of years on. And I have to say, over the years, it's just something that's left me and melted away. Of course, I carry on checking because you never know where these sanskars can re-emerge again. But I would say generally it's such a freedom, from comparison with others. Because there's one of Baba's Murali songs, you have to live in your lane and die in your lane. And that I feel is also part of self-esteem, that every soul has their own role in the drama. And at Confluence Age, we're very fortunate because Baba gives us so many opportunities. Why do we need to want what others have? There's enough space for each of us to do our thing and find our way. So I think Baba is also connecting it there with that self-respect. That why are you comparing? Why are you jealous? Why do you not value your blessings so that you think you want someone else's blessings? You don't value your own good karma, so you want someone else's good karma. And then linked with this in self-respect, and this is a more tricky one. Have I got the self-esteem to be able to accept my averageness? That none of us are excellent in everything. We're probably excellent in a couple of things, but we're probably average in most things, and someone will be excellent in something that we're average in. So if I'm thinking I must always be the best in everything, I'll always be angry. Yeah, I'll always be disappointed in some way. I'll always be discontent. But I actually have to be content with my averageness. There has to be a level where I just respect and appreciate my endeavor. I know I'm not the best at this. I'm going to do my best, and genuinely do my best at this and try and improve. But there are some people who are just always going to be more talented than me in this. So if I've accepted my average and I have self-esteem within it, rather than that comparison that I wish I was better, I'm not as good as this one. So I'm still in that self-judgment mindset. Then I think I'll always have a level of jealousy within that. Do you want to come back? What do you think?
Yes, I agree fully with all of that. But I was also thinking, why would somebody get jealous in the first place for all those reasons? And I was thinking one of the underlying factor might be that I lack what is pure love. Because if I love anyone or everyone as Baba loves us, it means that whatever somebody does, I will just have such appreciation for. So there's no no need to even feel jealous, even if somebody were to take my role and I'm in the Brahmin family, because sometimes it's competition, yes, we're saying is there. So even if someone does something, maybe they should not even do. But because of there's this love, because I'm looking at the virtue instead of this vice now leading to anger, jealousy to anger. It means jealousy will not even arise and anger will not even arise because there will be love and compassion. And if there's a correction to be given, it is given with love and compassion. So for me, I feel that really, as you're saying, that is really to look at the virtues, not to concentrate and analyze too much the weaknesses, but to see where my virtue can override that even occurring or even thinking. And then Baba, when something happens, we go into this expansion of waste thoughts, which brings all these feelings inside. So it's only when I asked the question that I felt that this thought of love came to me, that I should have love as such that because I'm seeing you see things now in the Brahmin family, and that's why there's sometimes some anger, and I never really related it to jealousy. I didn't look at it like that at all. But I can see, as you're saying, there's probably an insecurity, a lack of self-respect, low self-esteem, all of those factors. And I think what needs to be more in my mind is to understand, more understanding where it's coming from, so that I'm able to have this unconditional love and compassion instead of, being not happy with a situation that may have occurred. So that's my take.
Yes, I think so. I think that we've got to move away from churning the vices. We got to know for the purpose of identification, but ultimately, anger is the absence of peace. Um, you know, lust is the absence of purity. So we've got to really develop our peace. We've got to develop our purity. Attachments are the absence of that pure love. And so all of these things, the anger is a result, it's like a symptom of having some deficiencies within us. So what Baba's doing is he's giving us the chance to fill ourselves. And it's this combination of knowledge and yoga. So what the knowledge does, it does free us from a lot of anger because we have the knowledge of the drama, the knowledge of karma. We have many points of knowledge do free us from anger. But as you're saying, we do need Baba's love, and that's really Amrit Vela. And it's Baba's love that heals the soul and fills the soul. Ultimately, Raj Yoga is about fullness, and this cycle is about fullness. Half a cycle, we remain full enough so that the vices cannot exist. And then from the Copper Age onwards, there's some level of emptiness that commences. And that's the doorway for the vices. So as long as we are filling ourselves, then we are conquering the vices. So we must focus on peace and love and purity and joy. And having a look at our nature, how much are we experiencing that firstly ourselves? And then how much are we then embedding those things into our sanskars? Because even in the Iron Age, everyone has many virtues. But those virtues don't have that peace anymore, and that purity anymore, and that spirituality anymore. So these are the things that we're filling back into our nature. And ultimately, we have to become master oceans like Baba. And Baba enters the drama, but he doesn't enter it like a competitor. He doesn't enter it like a combatant. He doesn't enter it like a ruler. He enters the drama as someone who cannot be added to. So, whatever would be our higher status would be nothing for him. So, why would he compete for anything down here? Why would he, like, he doesn't even need people to worship him. He comes, tells us to all stop worshiping. He tells us not to bow. Otherwise, in Indian customs, like, you're often just touching people's feet all the time and things like that. Stops us doing all of those things. He has no need for others to worship him, no need for others to praise him. So, if we think about becoming like Baba, it's about becoming a master ocean. And the idea here is that we end our emotional neediness through knowledge and yoga, and we become full souls once again. And it's the full soul that can then really play that role as the ancestor soul, the worship worthy soul. Because, like any deity, the expectation of the devotee is the deity exists to give to them, not that the deity really needs anything. And that's the stage that Baba wants to see us develop. So the vices are really only there because we're still lacking in something. And we got to just fill ourselves up. And I don't think there's any other method other than Amrit Veda. Do you want to come back on
Thank you for that, brother. Yes, I do agree. Um, it is a lack of fullness because if we're full, nothing can shake us. Baba often says if a vessel is not full, if it's three-quarter, it can shake. Once we are full, the aim is really to have this fullness, the same thing like Baba. But that's what, as you said, he came for, thus full. So, as you said, again, as you always emphasize, Amrit Vela, how important it is at that time.
Yeah, I think it's all about Amrit Veda. And to answer the question, thank you just now in the chat. You see, if we go back to today's Morley, it's also linked with this topic because what Baba is teaching us today is not to look for peace and happiness in the Iron Age. This is part of our misunderstanding. So this is the understanding that Baba is giving us, that there's a time of sorrow, a time of happiness, and a place of peace. And of course, we're stuck down here, so we're just we're looking for someone to guide us, and we're looking for different good. But we know now that actually no one knew. But when we're devotees, we assume that someone must know. And so we're following different things, looking for peace, looking for blessings, looking for happiness. And we only get those things temporarily. So now we have the understanding that there's no point looking for a human being to fulfill me because they themselves are empty. There's no point looking for peace somewhere in this world because it's the Iron Age everywhere. So there will be only you can go on a vacation somewhere, go for a walk in nature. So you can get some level of peace, but it's not the type of peace where it's so deep inside of the heart that you can never be peaceless. It's not that type of peace. And so it is also understanding. So it's yoga, yes. Amrit Vela, yes. But it is also using the points of each day's morally. And so looking at this understanding that Bab is giving me and changing my perspective, changing my way of thinking, so that I, the soul, am also becoming more peaceful. So if I know, let's take this simple, basic foundation that Baba gives us. Everyone is a soul, that no one can die. So just that one point can give me so much more peace because the fear of death and the traumas of death are the deepest traumas inside of us. And Baba just gives us that knowledge of the soul, of continuity. Everyone you knew is all still here, and no one has gone anywhere. Now, just that knowledge of eternity of the soul gives us peace. And more we think about it, the way that BKs deal with death is so different to most people. And you see the best of BKs usually at funerals. Like they really, that daily training of soul consciousness really helps at that time. So for us, it's a continuity, it's understanding the drama as well. So, Baba says to us, doesn't he? Don't put a question mark. So it's these points of the morally as well that we have to take and then train ourselves to think in a particular way. Because Baba's saying, well, look, everything's in the drama anyway. You're not going to be able to control that. So if you just walk around questioning everything, you'll just be stressed all the time. So you might as well just put a full stop. Get on with what you can control. Get on with your own efforts. Just be happy even. So I think it's this understanding that Ben is speaking about. Thanks for the question. Would anyone else like to ask anything or say anything?
Hi, Shaylin. How does one build more discipline in their life? What's
Right,
what's the pillars of discipline, and how do you implement that in your business or work life?
right. So, I mean, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. And we are old friends. How old would you have been when I first met you?
About 9, 8, 9.
Yeah. So this is an old friend of mine, Brother Jiten. So good to have you here. Well, I think, like, say if we take me and you as an example, I think you might agree about this. Probably you find discipline harder than I find discipline. So I think some BKs, they have a nature, don't they, where they're just more disciplined. And you've got some who really struggle with their disciplines. So I think that you've got some who have more of a challenge with discipline. And for that, I just think that it's about focusing on a routine. And you find that with everything. Like, I think you used to, I don't know if you're still in the routine of going to the gym and like exercise routines and things. So it's not that different. When people have to, let's say they had a health scare and they need to lose weight, they need to get themselves, get their numbers back on track. And there's no other way of doing it other than making a routine. So you yourself saw the daddies, and my one of my abiding memories of both Daddy Genki and Daddy Prakashmani is their focus on their routine. And even into their 70s and 80s and 90s, they kept a routine. So back in 1991, I spent my summer holidays in Madhaban. Do you remember Toby? And do you remember Toby, Jitin?
No, no, not.
he was like my elder, like me to you. He was like to me, and he used to run our children's classes when I was first young. And then Trisha. So Trisha, and there was another brother. I don't know if he comes that much. He was the same age as me. His name was Sean. And the four of us went to stay in Madhaban. I was 13. Brother Trisha, many of you might know Brother Trisha. He's 2 years older than me. So he was one, and this other brother, Toby, he was one. So he was a few years older than us. And we spent the whole month of August in 1991 in Pandurbalan. We were staying in Sukdan building. And Brother Toby had this very good virtue of his routine. So he had just begun his degree. He was studying at the University of Birmingham, which is where I work now. And he because of his schedule, he couldn't go during Bapteda season to Madhuban, so he was going in the summertime and staying there. And one thing he had told us from the beginning was was going to wake up at 1 or 2 a.m. So it's something I hadn't done before, but that was where it all started for me. It started with that practice. And, because one person begins getting up, like I was saying this the other day as well, that if you ever live with anyone who gets up early in the morning, if you live in a bhavan or you're in a retreat or you're in Madhuban, and someone is getting up at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., and you get up at 4 a.m., you feel like you woke up in the afternoon. So what happens is because he was getting up early, I was getting up at 1 or 2 o'clock. And then later on, every time I went to Malabar, I was getting up at 1 or 2 o'clock. And then I think now we've been doing it for 18 months actually. Been a group of us were getting up every day, and I'm up at 1:45. And because they're there, I'm there. And because I'm there, they're there. So I really think company in this. So if you can find some people, or you can join us if you want online to the Amrit Veda. But it's going to be, and if you've got people there who you can go and have Amrit Veda with physically. I can remember one time when I was staying in Leicester for one night, you picked me up, didn't you, for Amrit Veda? You were there surprisingly. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the yuktis that Delhi Janki and they used at the London Centre. So one of the brothers there had asked Daddy, Brother Nick, he lives in Leeds now. And he's one of the Daddy's first students at the London Centre. And he asked Daddy, I can't get up for Amrit Vela, what shall I do? And in those days, many of us would like go to have Amrit Vela at Daddy's place, Daddy's Bhavan. And she said, well, make sure you pick up a few people. And because you've got to collect them, you have to get up. So that's how he became accurate. So I think we got to find a way. Probably now we don't run around so much early in the morning because of safety concerns, but we can join each other online maybe and just get yourself into a routine. I think you could begin once a week, maybe, you know, uh, on a day where you can rest in the day, and then give that a go. And then you got to make your morally accurate every day. So whether you're listening to the morning one or the evening one, you should tune in to Harmony House, or all of you, wherever you are in the world, your centers, and just make sure, because that's one thing Baba is very insistent on. We've got to hear the morally every day. So I think if you can get yourself into those two things, get the routine creates the discipline. Do you want to come back on anything?
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thanks. Would anyone else like to ask anything or say anything?
Here's a quick fun question for you, Shailin Bhai.
Yeah.
If you had a microphone that would voice your message to the world, you had 60 seconds, what would you say to the whole world? And everybody will hear it.
I would say consider yourself to be a soul. We are all souls, the spiritual energy, the spark of consciousness inside this human body. And our Father, the Supreme Soul, loves us all. And so we just need to remember Him and remember that we're all brother souls.
Thank you.
Welcome. I didn't need 60 seconds for that one. Baba does it in one line, doesn't he? Just consider yourself to be, or one word, man manabab. Okay, so let's hear a bit of the Morally, and then after that, you can all come in again if you'd like to. So I'll hand over to Ranjan Ben. She's selected something to read to all of you, to all of us. Yeah, they can hear you.
Om Shanti, everyone. Good evening. This is the Avyak Bhaktada Murli of 22nd January 1970. 1970. So 22nd 0170. The practice of coming into sound in 1 second and going beyond sound in 1 second is absolutely essential at the present time. So Baba has been asking us to be soul conscious for past few days. It's about being soul conscious. And two Sundays ago, Baba was saying about final time, and our mind should be able to see what the others need and be able to, but our intellect needs to be very, very clear and connected with Baba only. So the practice of coming into sound in 1 second and going beyond sound in 1 second is absolutely essential at the present time. Where are all of you sitting and what are you seeing? Are you seeing the Avyakt form whilst being stable in the Avyakt form, or are you trying to see the corporeal form in the subtle form? There is sound in this world, whereas in the subtle region, there is no sound. And this is why Baba is teaching all the children the drill to take them beyond sound. The practice of coming into sound in 1 second and going beyond sound in 1 second is absolutely essential at the present time. The time will come when you will stabilize yourself in the Avyak stage and be able to know the feelings within someone's mind through the signals of the eyes. It will not be necessary to speak to or hear about it from anyone. Such a time is now going to come. The other day somebody was asking, Baba often says we will also experience what Dadi's experienced in the beginning. Then somebody asked. So Baba is giving this answer and asking us to practice going beyond sound, be with Baba. Because people will be so much in sorrow. They won't have energy to listen. And also it's everyone's safety, for our safety also. Because there'll be disturbed souls and in too much chaos. So it's a good practice. This is why Baba says, stay beyond sound, you are safe with Baba. And if you are with Baba, Baba can help through you. That's all. Just as when you come in front of Bhaktada and he knows the thoughts and feelings within your mind without your having to tell Baba about it. In the same way, you children have to study this final course. So we, most of us, I'm sure, pretty sure all of us must have experienced, even when we went before Dadi, and some used to say in astonishment that, Dadi, how do you know? That happened a lot. So I'm sure we all have experienced this. And Baba is saying we also have to do the same. We should be able to be like Bapdada. So just as when you come in front of Bapdada and he knows the thoughts and feelings within your mind without your having to tell Baba about it, in the same way, you children have to study this final course. Just as you speak the language of the mouth, in the same way, there is the conversation of the spirit, which is called a heart-to-heart conversation. So here also Baba says that Amrit will have a heart-to-heart conversation. And so if we just talk, then it's not Baba's language, but Baba says talk spirit with clear, talk to Baba. That is heart-to-heart conversation, you know. So, you know, you can tell what it is after in Amrit Vela, how to have that. Because otherwise it's body consciousness and there's too much disturbance, and that's not heart-to-heart conversation with Baba. So a spirit talks to a spirit, but how? Do spirits converse through the mouth? When you stabilize yourself in the spiritual stage, so the spirit will be able to know another spirit easily and clearly, just as in this world. You know the feelings of one another by your speaking about them. You know, we empathize and talk to each other and say, yes, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I've been through as well. But Baba says, no, spirit to spirit is another language. So for this, which aspect of dharana is needed? There is a special need to keep the line of the intellect constantly clear. If there is any disturbance within your intellect or mind, or if the line is not clear, you will not be able to understand one another's thoughts and feelings. Because of the line not being clear, there is a mixture of your own thoughts. Otherwise, it's a mixture, Baba said. This is why each of you should check whether the line of your intellect is clear. Is there any type of obstacle in your intellect that is causing distress? Do you have the three aspects of being stable, immovable, and tireless in your life? All these are questions Baba is asking. If even one of these three aspects is lacking, then understand that the line of the intellect is not clear. When the line of the intellect becomes clear, what will that person's stage and consciousness be? The more the line of the intellect is clear, that is, the line of effort is clear, what will be your consciousness to the same extent? The future of any aspect would be just as clear as the present. For that person, the present and the future would be the same. Means if you have positive, pure thoughts, benevolent thoughts, and nothing else. And then at that present time, say for 2 minutes you have that. Those 2 minutes will pass. So when they have passed, that is the past now. So you know you have gained, you have accumulated for the future. But if you have waste thoughts, then you are losing, because this moment I'm speaking, I spoke the words before, the sentences. They have become past now because they've gone. In the future, what future will be, what Baba is saying. So every moment we pass is our past, and then every moment we move and is making our future. That's why Baba says, we remain positive, remaining. This is why, otherwise our future and status will be accordingly. So, for that person, the present and the future would be the same. Nowadays, through science, some things are shown so clearly that you can see things that are very far away. In the same way, those whose effort is clear will see the things of the future very close, whilst being very far. Nowadays, when people watch television, they are able to see everything very clearly. So their intellect and vision can see and know all the images of the television very clearly. There will be no difficulties of making effort in any aspect. In the same way, have that experience and recognition of the final stage in yourself to see how close you are to the final stage. So Baba says you can, if you clearly see, then you will be able to see your future status, future. When the sun is fully risen, you are able to see everything very clearly. All the darkness and haziness finishes. In the same way, when you have an unbreakable relationship with the Almighty Authority, you can see everything within yourself very clearly. So it is the connection with Baba, unbreakable and clean and clear. And then Baba says, you can see everything within yourself very clearly. And if whilst you are walking along, the darkness or haziness of Maya comes to you in your effort, which hides the truth, it will be removed. For this, always remember two things. All the children have come to this alokik fair. Just as a Lokik father takes his children to the fair and buys something or the other for those who are specially loved, so what unique thing would Bap Dada give to all of you children today at this unique fair, Mela? We go to Mela, so what unique, Baba, what unique thing would Bap Dada give to all of you children today at this unique fair, Mela, Milan with Baba? What is Bap Dada giving to you as a memorial of this alokik sweet meeting? Always have pure thoughts for others and pure thoughts for the eternal self. Have pure thoughts for the eternal self and for others. Always remember these two things. So pure, eternal pure thoughts for the self and for others. Yeah. So Baba says, always remember these two things. You will be able to create your own stage with pure and positive thoughts, and you will be able to do the service of many others by having pure and positive thoughts for them. So this is the imperishable gift from the subtle region for all the children who have come. Are you accepting it from Baba? The Baba is teaching us even now. At this time, he's giving us extra lesson. He's present, so be with Baba and accept this gift and use it and be accumulated. So it's not that we are just, no, Baba is present. Baba, I always invite Baba and say to be with everybody's intellect. And this is why, whilst Baba speaking even moodily, practice, and that becomes your property and your future wealth. So even now, at this time, and these two things, and this is why the brother asked about the universe, and it goes into the atmosphere and the vibrations. So this is a good practice, and it will go to the entire world, birds, animals, nature. So even this, Baba gives us easy thing, tasks. If just two things will do so much. So Baba, you will be able to create your own stage with pure and positive thoughts, and you will be able to do the service of many others by having pure and positive thoughts for them. So, this is the imperishable gift from the subtle region for all the children who have come. Is Bap Dada's love greater? Baba is asking now. Is Bap Dada's love greater than the children's, or the children's love greater? Children always say, Baba, our love is, but what would Baba say? Some children must be thinking that the love of all of them is greater than Bap Dada's love. The love of some is greater, but there is not a majority of them. There is love, but it is not unbroken and constant. The love of the children changes its form a great deal. The love of Bap Dada remains unbroken and constant. So whenever you're feeling down or having negative, this is very good. That Baba always says, Baba doesn't change his mood or form, or he is unconditional. It's us, Baba said, our children's, the love of the children changes its form a great deal. The love of Bapdada remains unbroken and constant. So so now, whose love is greater? When Bapdada sees the children, because he has the third eye, he sees them in their three forms. So you guess in your mind which three forms Baba said and check if they are the same. So when Bapdada sees the children, because he has the third eye, he sees them in their three forms. Which are those three forms? You see Baba in his three forms, and all of you know those forms. I'm sure you remember now. Baba also sees the children in their three forms. One is the form of the effort maker. Second is the future of the confluence age, which is the angelic form. And thirdly, the future deity form. I must admit, I thought Bab teaches Satguru, so I didn't get that same. Did you get it?
In Baba's three forms is what you said, but Baba sees us in these three forms.
Yeah, I didn't think of these three. Yeah, anyhow, so now we know. You see Baba in his three forms, and all of you know those forms. Baba also sees the children in their three forms, so our three forms Baba sees. One is the form of the effort maker. Second is the future of the confluence age, which is the angelic form. And thirdly, the future deity form. So Brahman, so Farista, so Devta. So it's a Brahmin confluence, and then angelic future form. So Baba said, check, am I getting to nearer of angelic form, and then the future will be a deity form. He has a vision of all three forms. The three forms of each one are clearly visible. Just as you are clearly able to see this body of the present time, in the same way, these three forms are very clearly visible through the divine eye. You need a divine eye, clear, very clear, pure divine eye, means third eye, intellect. It is very easy to speak about something that you have seen with your eyes. It is a little difficult to speak about something that you have only heard about. But it is easy to speak about something that you have seen. And it is also more precise. It is also more precise. So it is just as easy to speak about these three forms of each one through these divine or obvious eyes. So divine eyes is the same thing as obvious eyes. In the same way, you will be able to see these three forms of one another. At present, it is according to your effort and according to your capacity. But after a little while, this term, according to capacity, will finish. Yeah, Baba says, Yatha Shakti, according to your capacity, will finish, and each of you will claim perfection according to your number. So Bapdada is seeing the perfect face of all of you. Perfection will be number-wise. We read that Murli about perfection the other day, last Thursday. And so number-wise came in it. And so Baba says, Baba doesn't give a number, but we make it by not remembering or following Srimad Maryada. We break things. So this is why we become number-wise.
Shall we stop there?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. So, is it time? Yeah, okay. That's 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's stop. See if people want.
One of the nice questions. Okay. I just finished this. Yeah. I'll finish this quickly. Perfection will be number-wise. Would you call both the number 1 bead of the rosary and the 108th bead of the rosary perfect or not? Would you call them victorious jewels? A victorious jewel means to attain perfection according to your own number. For the soul, that is the first stage of perfection within the whole drama. For instance, even the 8th emperor will be called a world emperor, but there will be a difference in the happiness in the world of the first world emperor and the happiness in the world of the 8th world emperor. In the same way, here also each one is attaining perfection according to his own number. This is why Bapdada sees the perfect stage and the effort of the present moment. What are you at present and what are you going to become? Baba says, you asked, did you not? About what Baba does whilst he is sitting in the subtle region. This is what he continues to observe and also does the service of giving subtle cooperation. Each one thinks, I don't know what Baba does up there all the time as he sits in the subtle region. The speed of service there is a lot faster than that of the corporeal world, because here there is also the account of the corporeal body. Now Baba is free from even that bondage. He does not exist just for himself, but for all the souls. So that is beautiful. This was 1 year after Baba became Avyakt Brahma Baba, because he became Avyakt on 18th of January 69, and this is 22nd of January 1970. So there were a lot of questions. So somebody else, I thought it'd be nice, and then this is something food for the thought, journey, all those were about perfection, number-wise, everything. Okay, Om Shanti.
So Baba's message about concentration. And let's develop our concentration, get our mind and intellect clear. And then Baba's saying you'll experience the meeting with Baba more clearly. In Hindi, the word for heart-to-heart conversation is literally spirit-to-spirit conversation. So Baba is saying that it is possible for souls to communicate with each other on that level, on the level beyond thought. So what's the sound beyond thought? What's the language beyond thought? That's the type of thing that Baba is guiding us towards. What language does the incorporeal father speak when he doesn't have a body? What's the language of the angel who doesn't have a body? And so can we change our language from the world of noise to the world of silence? And for that, we're going to need to practice our concentration, get our mind focused on one thought, and bit by bit, our mind and intellect can become clear. So would anyone like to say anything or ask anything?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
A few days ago, we were churning in the group here, and I said exactly what you just said. I said, we won't be speaking in the golden age. We'll be very quiet. I will look at you, you will, no, we're so. I will look at you, you look at me, and we can talk, but there's no sound. And I actually saw that. I remember Baba talks about your mind and intellect is clear. I do see clearly, and I remembered saying that. No one said a word. I thought, oh, oops, what have I done there? But I experienced that. Yes. But I don't know if we have time for me to tell you this. Last Sunday morning in Amrit Vela, I was dreaming, and I saw a hand. Let the hand descend to me. Come. So I took the hand, finished Amrit Vela, went to sleep, and by 10 o'clock that morning, I got a phone call from someone who had just come up from the island where I belong, telling me that her daughter had told her about me, and I will be opening a Gita Pashala. And this person spoke, and we met up. And she was telling me that her daughter got married, and all the rich people in the island were there. There was about 40 of them. And if I'm going to open a Gita Pashala, she'll show me everything. She'll do everything. And I asked her a question. I said, are you a BK? No. I said, what are you then? She's something like Brahma. Silk Sikh? I forgot what she said, but she wasn't a BK. She said, I've been to the BKs, and they wanted me to do this and to do that, and I didn't do it. So I said, okay. And then we talked for about half an hour, then she left. And as she left, I started to talk to Baba about it. And I said, Baba, this soul is not a BK. She wants to offer me help to help with the Gita Patshala, but I'm not sure if I will accept her help because she's not a BK. And she said she wouldn't do what she was told to do. So I thought, I'm not going to, I'm going to talk to Baba a good while until I understand what I have to do here. I just wanted to share that because that's been on my mind since Sunday. And because the soul told me so much about herself, I didn't have to ask much. She just kept telling me who she was. So I knew who she was. I discerned who she was. And I'm not sure whether I'm happy about this friendship. I'm not sure whether I should.
Well, now that you're ready to verbalize it, I would make an appointment with Sister Maury and have a chat when, next time you're down in Global Corporation House. And just have a chat, have a cup of tea and see because she's an experienced soul with these things.
Mm,
I think that might be a nice chat for you. Think you'll gain clarity.
yes, I need some clarity because when she spoke to me in the morning of Sunday morning, about 3 hours after I'm there, I thought, wow, Baba, what is this? What is this? I was excited at first because I thought, look at this. But then I didn't become sorrowful. I became cautious because I was
Yes.
sure.
Well, now that you're ready to verbalize it, I think this is the time to have a chat with the sister.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Abikaben, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, this really was again a reminder when Baba talks about our stage, and what influences the stage whenever we have any negative waste thoughts, all those things. So it's just a reminder to pay special attention, keep the thoughts positive, keep a high energy level for the self and for all souls.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think this practice in yoga of the Avyakt meeting is something that we will need to practice. Because Baba was saying to us that, can you sit in front of Baba and experience being in the subtle form? Bab Dada are in the subtle form. So can we meet the subtle form just like how we would meet the corporeal form? One of the challenges of yoga is, can we make Baba as real as a human being would be? He is that, but it's our practice of remembrance, our commitment to that remembrance that will make that experience more real for us. For many years, I used to practice this while listening to the morning. So I will visualize Bab Dada maybe behind the sister who's reading the morning or by the side. So initially, I would use the picture that's there in front and see Shibaba and Brahmababa's souls seated in the forehead. And I'm concentrating on their two souls of Babdada, and then listening to the Morali and having the feeling like they are speaking to me. And then later, I began the practice of listening to the Morali as if I was seated in Madhuban. So taking myself with the vehicle of the mind, as if I was seated in the history hall in the 1960s, listening directly to that Morali. Because Baba is unlimited. He can see the three aspects of time. He was saying that in this Morali we were just hearing. So Baba might have spoken a Morali, let's say June 1964. But he knew we'll be repeating that Morali today because he spoke it seeing the three aspects of time. So he wasn't just speaking that Morali to those in front of him. He would have known we'll be picking up that Morali today. So he was already speaking to us through time. And this is what Baba was conveying in this Morali, that for him, it's a spirit to spirit conversation. So the words that he spoke at a particular time were not just to the people in front of him. He's not looking at just the corporeal. But there are still BKs to come who will listen to this mom. He was seeing them. in advance. So to really take ourselves into that meeting with Baba. So I found it very useful to do that during Mawlid time. And as the years went on, my feeling of meeting Baba during Mawlid continued to grow. And then I always had a great interest in watching Baba's Mawlid videos. And so I spent many, many hours just visualizing Bapdada in the forehead of Dadi Gulzar, and then just hearing the Mawli that way. And then taking that practice to Amrit Vela. And I mean, we do meet now, and we use Zoom, and we might put a little video or a little image in front to convey different parts of the commentary. But a lot of it is just this meeting with Baba at Amrit Vela. So whether it's visualizing in the soul world, visualizing in the subtle region, or inviting Baba to come and be in front of us. Brother Nirver, who passed on a couple of years back, he used to say that when he was a young man in the 1960s, he was living in Mumbai. And when he was visiting Madhuban, often Babdada would be leading the meditation, so they would get drishti directly. And when he went back to Mumbai, he wrote to Brahma Baba and asked him that, what should he be doing at Amrit Vela? Because when he's there in Madhuban, it's obvious. But now he's away, what should he do? And Baba had said to him, just visualize the angelic body of Brahma in front of you, and that Shiv Baba has come from the soul world to meet you through the angel, and he's seated in the forehead, giving you drishti. So these are all the practices that Baba is speaking about, making the spirit to spirit meeting real with Bapdada now. And the more we can make that real, that will become more of our focus. So people, the meeting with people will be there, but the real internal enjoyment and reliance will actually be in that meeting with Baba. So in this 5 minutes, let's take ourselves to Madhuban with the vehicle of the mind and practice this spirit to spirit meeting with Baba.
Yeah, can you see? And also, remember, daddies gave us our inheritance. I mean, course, everything, because Baba had left. When parents leave in the older brothers or sisters to give the inheritance to younger siblings when they are of age. That's why they are called trustees. Baba calls us true trustees. Integrity with integrity. We hand over their inheritance in this way.
Continue.
No, so, this is why Baba is preparing us and asking us that you had so much and make your stage and be ready to give it to when your brothers and sisters come in front of you. So that's very subtle, like Brahma Baba. And also Baba is asking us to practice going beyond. We say we will become like Bap Saman, right? Also in that, Brahma Baba was saying that now Baba is an angel up there. He's able to do more service. He is beyond or every bondage. He made those efforts. So Baba is asking us to become like him, angel. You'll be able to serve and you won't feel any bondage or tirelessness or so. Anyway, there were quite a few points. Read again and then John, see what Om Shanti.
So let's practice that subtle meeting now for a few minutes.